Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's good to see everybody again, especially if you're new to the channel. I always love to see new faces here and look forward to hearing from you in the comments when you get a chance. And today's video, or really tonight's video, something that I think we all think about every single day, most of us at this point, we are thinking about the future. And when I say the future, I mean, it almost like a dystopian wasteland in a way for some, for certain reasons. I mean, with all the stuff with AI, with everything that's happening, you almost feel like you're about to wake up one day and you're going to run into John Connor from the Terminator series and everything is going to be absolutely blown to hell and nothing's going to be, there's going to be pandemonium and chaos because nothing's going to be working right. It almost kind of feels like we're on the cusp of something like that. And I sense this every day partly because you especially making the types of content that I make, watching other content creators, watching the stuff that's getting released out there, catching up to news stories, other things like that. I end up seeing to a certain degree how everybody feels about it. You've got one side that's absolutely concerned and nervous about the use of AI, the use of surveillance technology, the flock cameras, which there have been numerous protests all over the place about that, and the information gathering that's happening with that, all the way down to the stuff that they're watching and listening to on our phones without our consent, to the point to where we feel like, many feel like, a surveillance society is on the way. A surveillance society that is not to our benefit, though they would promise the opposite, because most people feel like they can't trust the government for obvious reasons. Literally just saw a story break about how uh, people in the Defense Department, some of them in the Pentagon, many hundreds and hundreds of accounts, possibly even more, involved in looking at different types of uh, child entertainment. I don't know how to phrase that without getting flagged here on YouTube, but twisted stuff involving kids. And we know that nothing's really going to get done to most of the people that are higher up in the elites. Maybe they'll throw some of these people under the bus, but most people just don't have any faith in the government and the corruption being stopped. We don't have any faith that we're actually going to get represented. We don't have any faith that things are really going to go the right direction. So we kind of have this impending sense of doom almost every single day when we wake up and we take a look at all this stuff. I see all the information and stories flying around about all the flock camera stuff going on and all the opposition to that simply because it reads and takes in all this information that it's not so much that maybe it could potentially help identify somebody who's a fleeing criminal or the kill switches that they've now approved funding for to go into our vehicles, so that technically if it detects erratic driving or something like that, supposedly it's going to be able to stop somebody from getting behind the wheel of a vehicle when drunk and possibly getting somebody killed. It's not those things that we're concerned about. Most of the people that I speak to, they are concerned about how this stuff is going to get misused to harm innocent people, to harm those of us that are questioning what's going on. Are they just going to flip a switch and turn off our car? Are they going to flip a switch and turn off our bank account or start monitoring stuff going on our devices, computers, and phones without our consent, simply because they don't want people that disagree or question things to have any voice whatsoever? And there's just so much of a history of that happening. Those of us that paid attention during the whole COVID outbreak and everything that happened afterwards, and anybody that questioned anything, you got flagged big time if you questioned anything about the main narrative. You weren't allowed to have a dissenting voice in any of that. And it was an atmosphere that felt incredibly overwhelming. If you thought for yourself, you felt like you were in deep trouble if you opened your mouth. And now with the everything else being introduced, all the AI stuff, pushing of the flock cameras, pushing of the surveillance state that's happening. I feel like many of us, we take a look at all of that and we feel a sense of dread and trepidation with all of it. We feel worried. How are they going to use this against us? Because we expect that they will. History has shown us that people that get into power, especially corrupt positions of power, like the type of people that are listed in the Epstein files, they would rather destroy the populace than face justice. And we know that they were like that. We know that that is their nature. And so we have the sense of dread, wondering when the other shoe is going to fall. When are they going to try the crap that they're going to pull on us? And we're expecting it. We're expecting it. This is an instance where I would love to be completely wrong about it, but I don't feel like I am. I don't feel like any of us that are sensing this and worrying about it are wrong. I feel like our fingers are on the pulse of what's actually happening. Something big is coming, probably not very good. In fact, probably very, very bad, and it's going to get worse before it gets worse. And I feel like there's a sense of wanting to prepare. You know, I've seen people have shared with me videos of people that are basically preppers. They are, gathering all types of different foods that they can store, getting as much water as they can put together and storing it at their place, trying to figure out ways to live off grid as if they're going to hide from it. I get that and I understand it. And at the same time, I'm aware of the military drones that are about the size of a small car that they can send in after somebody. They don't even have to send troops in after you. All they got to do is fly a drone in there and absolutely obliterate wherever it is that you're staying. So I don't know that I could say that there's an escape. I do think that there is a resistance to all of this and a fight to some degree that's coming, but whether it's a fight where it's a quiet quit and everybody walks away and tries to shut the system down, or whether it's an organized resistance against it, I don't know what it's going to be. It does seem like a lot of people are building up to do that. I've heard those of you that are apathetic about it, that doubt that, and you think that the apathy is going to prevent anything from happening. And I completely understand your position. I see that too. I am curious as to your thoughts, though. What do you feel like the future is looking like? Do you feel like it is dire? Do you feel like it's something that's going to look like something out of one of the Terminator movies, or do you feel like it's something where we're going to be trapped in a surveillance state and basically have our due process and our freedoms just completely eroded? How do you feel things are actually going to go coming up in the future? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And as always, I look forward to talking to all of you again soon.